the importance of networking in the US educational as well as the professional circles. People like you are the ones who need to change that culture. So
Top three qualities do you see or find in someone working as a team member? What kind of projects or internships do major companies demand?
I think AI to us is what computers were to people in the 80s and the 90s.
If you are struggling to find a path to success, if you are confused about something or you are unable to build your career, well, you are at the right place. I welcome everyone in today's episode of The Engine of Innovation. I am Surbhi Mahajan, an undergraduate student pursuing bachelor's in electrical and computer engineering at Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology. Now, podcast is going to be really exciting because today you and I are going experience the fusion of engineering excellence and business energy. I welcome Mr. Navdeep Singh, who is a mechanical engineer by foundation and MBA by ambition. He is someone who knows how gears move and markets shift. And you know the best part? He brings insights that both the students and professionals can learn at the same time. He is currently based in San Francisco with over 9 years of experience as a product manager in Walmart. So, you have worn multiple hats from engineering to product manager. How do you sum up your story from machines to markets?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Surbi. I think I can't beat that introduction. Thank you so much for the kind words. But yeah, just to kind of back up and kind of tell you a bit about myself. My name is Navdeep, as you kind of already called out. I've been with Walmart for about 9 years now. Although I just realized that it has been 9 years after you kind of called it out in introducing myself. But at present, I lead product management for the affiliate marketing channel at Walmart. Before this includes everything and anything that goes from enabling the influencer marketing efforts of Walmart to building the attribution platforms or API platforms to help those influencers identify the right products to promote. Before this, have been in variety of different of product management roles at Walmart. Just before this, I was part of the last mile delivery team. Before that, supply chain. So been around with the company in a variety of product roles for a while now. My journey with Walmart began in 2016 when Jet.com, which was a startup that I started working
Yes.
for right after business school, got acquired by Walmart, and that's how it all began. Before Walmart, have been in a variety of technical roles, mainly in the industrial construction sector, but I would say Walmart has been the most defining part of my current path in career.
Rana sir has given us such an opportunity to reach out to you people, and we feel really blessed that we have joined this Thapar Summer School 2025. Um, so since you have worked with both giants and other servicing companies, and you have experience of startups too, what the top three qualities do you see or find in someone working as a team member who can lead, who can shine, who can stand out in a team?
I would say, Surya, I think the most important thing, and I think everything I'm going to say after this is not going to come anywhere close to this. I think having an informed opinion is the most important part of being a team player, or being a team player that is valued. So just being the sounds good person or agreeing to everything or disagreeing to everything without a solid reasoning is a quality we should shy away from, versus that I think being so basically any industry you join or any profession you join, be it an engineering or a consulting or whatnot, knowing your stuff and being able to contribute to towards that stuff in the team setting is the most important thing from my perspective. Outside of that, I think whenever you are in a team setting, irrespective of what the context is, there are conflicts that will happen. So I think having a mindset of assuming good intent and approaching that conflict with a let me understand your perspective versus this is why you are wrong. I think that's the kind of approach one needs to
Right.
maintain.
Mhm.
Outside of that, I would say celebrating wins of others. I think being supportive of your teammates, being the positive influence on the overall group, having a fun and kind of collaborative work environment. I think those are some of the qualities. So I would say, but uh, you can't understate the importance of having an informed opinion. I think that is the number one quality anyone should focus on. Outside
Yeah.
of that, being collaborative and just tactful at conflict resolution.
So since you are a product manager and you deal with a lot of people, so freshers like us, we go to a company, we show our resume, they scan us, they do everything they need to put us in their company. What kind of projects or internships do major companies demand from us that the younger people who are watching this podcast
Mhm.
can get to know how to frame their CVs or resumes?
I would say this is where every company will be different, and
Okay.
I think one of the things that people uh, who are kind of looking out for opportunities or kind of in very early stage of their career, I think they should talk to people in these companies. So, for example, the conversation we are having, I think I can definitely tell you about how things work at Walmart, which may not be the same as how things work at other companies like Uber. I think having conversations, connecting with people who are in the company is the first thing that anyone should do to understand what that company does, what the culture of the company feels like, and second, how formal or informal the internship programs at that company are. Walmart being such a large company, I would say there are kind of differences in cultures that you would see in different businesses within Walmart or different teams within Walmart. So I've seen teams which have a very streamlined and structured internship program. So even before the internship starts for people, we have the projects identified, we have the milestones identified, we have a very well structured uh, set of deliverables that we would want to see. And think of internships as an elongated interview versus anything else. So it's seeing people in practice, what they would behave if they are given the opportunity to work for the company full time. So there are teams like that, and there are also teams where it's a very unstructured program. You are treated no different from a full-time employee, and consider it a short term of that employment opportunity, like 3 months or 6 months long internship. It's more of a doing same things that a full-time person is doing, just for that shorter duration. And I think the only way to know those differences is by talking to people and by
Yeah.
understanding what their expectations are. So,
Yeah.
which is what I would highly encourage everyone looking for internships to do with such opportunities. Mhm.
Do you think that AI is a disadvantage or an advantage to us?
I would say, think of it this way, Surbhi. I think AI to us is what computers were to people in the 80s and the 90s. So it's something that is changing how the world operates and businesses operates and
Yeah.
revenue is generated across the board. Um, are there disadvantages to AI? Of course, there are. I think with those disadvantages, but there is a flip side of advantages as well. So, for example, if let's say even if 5 years back, if you were to kind of identify a problem and start a company and work towards solving that problem, I think the biggest barrier to entry for you, and I'm talking about a tech company, of course, right now, not a company which is very hardware driven.
Yeah.
But if you were to start a tech company 5 years back, your barrier to entry would have been huge. You would have needed to raise at least 10x of the money that you would need to raise today. You would need a set of co-founders or a set of people who can complement the areas that you are not very well versed in. Uh, uh, I think those problems have significantly reduced. And again, that is not to understate uh, how difficult it is to start a company even today, but the barriers to entry have reduced. Your time to research and validate your hypothesis has kind of come down significantly. You can have a hypothesis, come up with a plan to test that hypothesis, roll out a MVP or a minimum viable product to gather data that will help inform some of your opinions in a matter of days versus months, and in some scenarios, years, that would have taken you. So I think in that respect, I think AI has definitely opened up the opportunities that did not exist 5 years back. But at the same
Yeah,
time, as you kind of called out, there is a risk of that as well. So, for example, if you kind of, I mean, thinking about it from the lens of an engineering student, you have an assignment and you kind of work all night, all day, do things the way they are probably supposed to do. I do know from people I talk to, there are kind of instructions of not using AI in some of these assignments. And there is someone who kind of uses that. So that can be felt like an abuse in some ways.
okay.
But what I can tell you is, even in companies of Walmart scale, there was initial hesitation in terms of, do we kind of use AI for coding, or do we use, and I'm using it just as an example. Um, and there were kind of validations done. There were kind of due diligence that was done, that our data is secure, our data is not being leaked. For example, if we have an integration with OpenAI, we don't want OpenAI to get into the proprietary data that Walmart has.
Yeah,
But we still use AI, accounting for all those governance measures. And companies like Walmart are now more open to using AI for coding than we were 5 years back or 3 years back. So I think the adoption of AI is definitely coming. It's the governance is not going to happen immediately, and I think there is definitely a lot of effort. There is a lot of conversations happening around how do we regulate the usage, how do we track the usage. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to happen immediately. It's going to take some time. But the best thing you could do in the short term is, uh, one, be ethical in how you're using AI. If
yeah,
as an example, an assignment requires you not to use the AI, you should absolutely not do that.
yeah.
But at the same time, you should get comfortable using AI for the in the methods and in the manner that you can. I'm so sorry. That was a very long, elongated answer.
No problem, sir. So there's something called prompt engineering, and
Mhm,
yesterday there was a lecture on it too. Same like age mate, we had a
mhm.
age mate, and he delivered an excellent lecture on it, like prompt engineering, how you give prompts to ChatGPT or any other AI model, and the model keeps getting trained and trained by us people only. It's the
Correct.
company who is making it, who is manufacturing it, but it is us who trains it according to our experiences. The model trains, and so I don't think the technology is going to stop in further 5 to 10 years. So what do you suggest the young professionals to do or to follow up for their so that jobs do not stop because of AI? What
Mhm.
do you suggest those young professionals to, like, okay, if I have electrical branch, I'm okay. If I have any other civil branch or chemical branch, they still have to work on it because we still need engineers who are working in civil engineering or chemical
Mhm.
engineering, and AI as well.
Irrespective of how the AI evolves, and fact of the matter is, I think the overall way of doing business and the overall way of working is going to, and again, it's very hard to predict what will happen. But based on how things are trending, based on how technology is evolving, I think things are not going to be what they are. uh, let's take example of civil engineering as an example. So part of the civil engineering is kind of coming up with the design. For example, you would have spent 20 hours, or maybe that's an understatement. Design, if you were to design a bridge, it would have taken you 20 hours, 30 hours to kind of come up with all the kind of design aspects of that bridge. But with these AI models, you can even design a bridge in fraction of that time. So one, I think whenever there is a notion that AI is going to impact one branch and not the other branch, I think there is there is some notion of being kind of just looking at what is happening today versus how things are evolving. Uh, but irrespective of how AI evolves, I think there is definitely going to be need for that foundation because I'm sure you guys have heard about all the hallucination that happens with AI,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, so even when we kind of go into a place where majority of your code is being written by AI or majority of your designs are being made by AI or majority of your creatives are being made by AI, irrespective of what domain you are in, be it creative, be it civil engineering, be it actual computer science. I think there is always going to be a need for people to validate if the outcome is in expectations with whatever the grounding principles of of that domain is. So having a very strong foundation is the first thing that anyone should focus on. Outside of that, I would also say I think the nature of the roles are going to change. So historically, for example, if you were a rockstar engineer, if you were a rockstar coder, I think that is the end of it. I think the world is your oyster and you have a ton of opportunities. I think in the future, just being a good coder or a good engineer is not going to be enough. You also will have to focus on the other side of the problems. For example, in addition to coding, you would also need to be able to work with multiple different organizations within your group. So it's not just your system. So as an engineer, you would probably own a system or you would own a platform. So it's not just what gets coded in your platform, how that interaction happens with the other platforms that becomes important. So how you engage with those people, how you resolve different conflicts, how you think of things in a more holistic manner, which a simple prompt cannot do, I think is going to become more and more important. And again, this is just a rough example, but the larger point being up to date with what is happening in the with AI and with the larger theme of technology evolution, being strong in your foundations, and third, looking for opportunities that complement the core technical skills. uh, I think these are some of the things that people can do to be prepared for how the world is going to evolve and shape around us, and it is going to change. It is going to change drastically. I think industries are going to shift. So I think the best thing people can do is be prepared and be ahead of the curve when that changes come.
So we have to prepare with the advancing technology. Meanwhile, we have to work with the organizations to keep ourselves updated. It's not just about coding, as you said. Engineers are not just about writing a code and doing it. We also have to work with the real life problems, I think. Working with real life problems will also make us learn how to communicate, like in this as a summer camp with the sincere efforts of Rana sir, we have come up to this session of learning by doing. He mentioned on the first day that the school will always be in the one method, how you learn and how you implement it, and you have to do it by yourself. I'll just give you platforms and you'll explore it. We had numerous seniors explaining us, experts even from Nvidia or Acre, the truck manufacturing company. They came to us and they gave us practical knowledge about that. So what do you suggest the viewers that their hands-on practice or the real life applications will help them to grow and shape their personality?
I would say, one, I think what you guys are doing is amazing. I really wish back when we were doing our undergrad, there were opportunities like that. And there were some. I think we were just lazy enough not to kind of leverage that. But so glad that you guys are doing that. I would say, if you think about evolving your perspective, or so ultimately what you want to do is you want to kind of stay current, you want to kind of grow your knowledge, and you want to identify the domain that you feel very passionate about, because the fact of the matter is whatever you feel passionate about, you are going to care about that, you are going to stay up to date on that, and you are going to kind of probably be better at it versus some of the other things that you could do with your time. And I feel people who are at a stage of life and career that you are in would fall in one of two categories. One, people who exactly know what they want to do.
Yeah,
They know inside out, this is what I'm going to work
yes.
on. This is the industry. This is the career. This is the track. And there are people who are confused. I was definitely in the second category. And I think it takes a lot of experimentation and learning and unlearning things to identify what is it that you feel a good fit for and feel passionate about. So I think with the platform that you have, I think you are already connecting with different people in different industries. I would say continue doing that. Even do reach out to people at the companies that you find interesting, irrespective of what role they are in. Learn about the roles that they are in, what their day-to-day looks like, how they are seeing their role and responsibilities change, and try to identify what is it that you feel more connected with. And for some people, it would be very straightforward that I really enjoy testing different capabilities. For some people, it might be I want to go into hardcore development. For some people, it might be I want to be a product manager, as an example. So I think the first stage is just getting a sense of what different roles mean and what is it that you are interested in. And once you have identified it, and you don't have to be 100% confident about it, as long as you feel like you are 80% there, then kind of again work with those people and see if there are opportunities where you could collaborate on different projects. For example, I think you are in computer science, right, Surbi?
So
Electrical.
electrical and computers.
So if computer science, I'm just throwing that as an example. What I was saying was you can participate in different hackathons, you can kind of build different
Yeah,
prototypes. That's the experiential learning that you kind of work towards.
neat.
One other thing I would say is I think that this is something very understated. I think people who are going to have the most positive impact on your career are going to be your batchmates, because that is a network you are going to carry with you for the life, and that is the strongest connection you are going to have in your professional career. So invest in those relationships, invest time collaborating with your classmates, identify a problem that you feel equally critical about that someone else feels, and try and solve it with a prototype. And maybe you won't solve it, but try and kind of focus in that direction. I think um I think that's how that experiential learning can go to the next level, I feel.
So we are often told that you have to earn a better CGPA. You have to show your skills, you have to show your CGPA, you have to show your communication skills. And we are humans, we are not able to show all three qualities at same time. And students often lag in their skills, maybe in their CGPA or maybe in their communication skills. It will take time for a person who is coming from an average background to earn a CGPA of 9, and that's a big thing in engineering, sir. You also understand, I think. What do you suggest that person or that fresher to start his fresh life from? Start his engineering or MBA career from?
I think this is where the cultural nuances come into the play, Surbhi. So, for example, if you were in a college in the US, I would have
Yeah.
say GPA or the CGPA does not really matter, and you should just focus on building your skills and kind of networking with people in the industry and in the segments of that industry that you feel passionate about. But I think that would be an absolutely horrible advice that I can give you, because fact of the matter is when your placement or the campus placement opportunities come, companies are going to look at that CGPA.
Yes, sir.
And I would say focus on your CGPA so that you at least make it to so basically have a decent CGPA. I think there is no escape that. Even if you kind of go for off-campus placements, I think there are going to be companies which are going to look at the CGPA, and that is that cultural nuance that we were talking about. So have a decent CGPA. I think that should absolutely be one of the core things that you focus on, or you should focus on, given the cultural dynamics of the market that you are in. Uh, but in addition to that, so for example, if 7 is a average CGPA that will qualify you for 80% of the companies, uh, and by having by leaving your CGPA at 7, you are able to get the time to focus on the other skills that you are probably not able to focus on from getting from 7 to 9. So I think that should be the healthy balance that you should manage. I think CGPA is important, but I think what will take you farther in your career is the networking that you do, is the communication skills that you develop, is the understanding of the market or the industry that you go in. Uh, uh, I think those are things that eventually are going to matter more. But if you don't make the cut of the CGPA to even get to a place where you can
Yeah.
leverage all the other skills, it's a
Yes,
lost
sir.
battle from the first, right? So I
Yes.
think depending on that nuance, I think I would say that is it's important to focus on GPA and CGPA, but only
Yes.
to the extent that it doesn't compromise on the other areas of focus.
So anything exciting on the horizon, personal or professionally, you want to add?
Nothing much. I think professionally, there are some important launches that we have upcoming. As an example, we are building a portal for influencers and affiliate partners so that we can kind of have again AI-based recommendations for them in terms of what kind of products they should look at and think
Wait.
about promoting
Yeah.
on their assets. Then we are working towards a CRM-based affiliate lifecycle program. So some of these good things on the horizon on the kind of professional front. Nothing too crazy happening on the personal front. So I think that's it. Sylvie.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking us beyond the textual knowledge and letting us know what the real world looks like. This conversation has truly been amazing and inspiring. The real world lessons about adaptability, lifelong learnings, and staying curious. But the most important things we young professionals look up to. The students who will be viewing this podcast will be able to learn a lot from this. To everyone listening, this is Surbhi Mahajan, and you have been listening to the episode of The Engine of Innovation. I hope this podcast has sparked some ideas for you. Whether you are an engineer, a budding entrepreneur, or someone who is simply curious about how life works, remember the world needs builders who can think and builders who can lead. Before we sign off, I want to reflect on one of the quote by Rana sir. He started in the first day of the orientation as learning by doing. This is not just a method of how we do work. This is something that pushes beyond our limits to grow, to identify ourselves, to know what we can do in life. And most importantly, everyone just keep smiling. That's the only way you can get through out of your worst situations. Thank you so much, sir. I hope everything went well.
Totally. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Sylvie.
Thank you, sir. Thank you a lot.